is our host, Miss Althea Sovan.
Hello, good morning everyone. Welcome to my show. For those who are watching at home, many have noticed that there is no audience, obviously because we cannot have people physically here. Say hi, our virtual audiences. Thank you so much, everyone. You know, on this show, what I like to do is to inform you of something facts and learning of reality that doesn't really been shown in the world. I don't want you to just be entertained, but I also want you to learn and gain awareness, especially you as a woman, as a man, and even the LGBTQ. Here is something I want to share with you about gender-based violence, where in this case, it doesn't gain more attention, knowing that gender-based violence, or GBV, is affecting 2.5 million women in the Philippines, adding the lockdowns due to the COVID-19 pandemic, where in fact, it increased the risk for women to suffer abuse. Is there someone out there who experienced violence? If you have experienced it, you have to listen carefully and be aware. Now we have here a woman named Shera who was abused by her husband for years. Let's call on Shera. Hello, good morning, Shera.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm well okay, still in process of healing.
You already knew why you are here on the show. Can you tell us a little detail about your life with your spouse and what was the beginning of his violence?
We were happy we came out this situation. When there's a problem, but everything has changed. The abuse started psychologically when he wants something which is not granted. He started calling me names like stupid. The physical abuse started with a slap in my face. And it is slowly escalated into more physical violence. You know, beating, joking, and trying to be a perfect and give the all of things that he wants. But it didn't matter to him.
Such a traumatic situation you have experienced. I can't imagine what you have been through for how many years.
Yes, after 6 years of marriage, I was able to cut the games. I couldn't put up abuse anymore, so I decided to ask for a divorce. So I was able to reach out a friend who is a lawyer.
So Trish, how was the case? Is the perpetrator likely to be punished?
So the case was still on the process. Actually, we gathered some evidences such as her medical certificate showing the bruises she got from the abusive actions from her husband. Absolutely, the perpetrator must be punished because he violated some human rights. According to Republic Act 262, an act defining violence against women and their children, providing for protective measures for victims, prescribing penalties, therefore, and for other purposes. Section 6, penalties, is the crime of violence against women and their children under Section 5. Hereof shall be punished. Violation of this order is punishable by law.
So what type of violence did Shera experience?
So there are types of violence such as the sexual violence, physical violence, psychological violence, economic violence, harmful traditional practices, and domestic violence or intimate partner violence. But in her case, there is sexual violence where there is a sexual harassment. She was being forced to have sex against her will. Physical violence, the bruises where it is the best evidence for this case. The psychological violence, here where the verbal or emotional abuse, humiliation, and discrimination.
I am hoping that the case will be given its justice, especially to Miss Shera and her children, and may the perpetrator will be punished according to its judgment. Thank you so much, Miss Trish, and to you, Miss Shera.
Thank you.
Now we have here a woman who would like to share her experiences as well and how she was able to survive those unpleasant situations. After reaching out, she was able to break out of the cycle of sexual violence. Let's welcome Anne Samson.
Good morning to all strong women out there.
Hello, good morning, Miss Anne. Now let's get to the point, ma'am. How did you able to survive those unpleasant situations?
It can be extraordinarily difficult to admit that you were raped or sexually assaulted. You may be also afraid of how others will react. Will they judge you? Look at differently? It seems easier to downplay what happened or to keep it a secret.
Ma'am, as a survivor in such violence, what can you give as an advice for Miss Shara who also experienced violence?
The first thing I did is opening up about what happened to myself. I reached out someone I trust. I challenged my sense of helplessness and isolation. Consider joining a support group. And next, coping with feelings of guilt and shame.
Thank you, Miss Anne.
Thank you.
Now we have here a psychiatrist who will answer some questions regarding gender-based violence. Let's welcome Miss Jean Padilla. Hello, Miss Jean. Can you share with us your thoughts or your perspectives why most women are the victims of gender-based violence?
The term gender-based violence is used to describe some forms of violence against men and boys. Most acts of GBV or gender-based violence are directed against women and girls because in many contexts, they are a disadvantage in terms of social power and influence, control of resources, control of their bodies, and participation in public life, making them more vulnerable to violence.
Thank you so much, Miss Jean.
Yes, thank you. It is my opportunity.
Violence against women. We have to do much more to respond to the cries for justice of women who suffered violence. We have to do much more to end these horrible abuses and the impunity that allow these human rights to continue. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Good morning.